Hello everybody, I am Cooper. Today I'm back with a brand new video. Today we are talking about this, the B&M 4th Doctor Regenerated and TARDIS box set from B&M, our wonderful little TARDIS traders nowadays. Yeah, so last year B&M started releasing TARDISes and all that sort of thing. I've got the old box here, the actual TARDIS itself has now been customed into a 13th Doctor one, so I no longer have that one. But this is going to act as its replacement because it's practically the same model. Yeah, we'll talk about both boxes in a little bit. First of all, yes, this is my channel. This is not what I do usually, but I like talking about the new sort of releases like this because it's very exciting, and I personally like to pick them up for my own use, so I thought, why not review them anyway and give you an option. If you're living outside the UK, I'm really, really sorry because, you know, the whole eBay thing, people picking up about 10 of these things from the shop, clearing the shelves, and then selling them all for about £80 or £100 each. It's getting a bit ridiculous, and I wish B&M would put a limit on how many people, sorry, a person buying so many at once. It would be nice if there was a limit put on that. But it seems this time round there's a bigger stock, and there's more and more appearing in shops, so that's actually quite good. I personally managed to get mine on the second try. It took me about 5 different shops to get the one last time, but yeah, here we are with a brand new TARDIS set. Now, we'll talk about the box first. We haven't got a Vote Saxon 07 style spinning plate table thing with a lovely white background, so instead we have my desk. We're going to use that to talk about it today. So the old box, as you can see, kind of went off the Capaldi design, nice sort of diamond shape, the old logo, the sort of colours, the purples and the oranges and all that sort of stuff, and it had pretty much the basic description and all that sort of thing on the back, with all the same stuff on the side. This box is very similar, but incorporates a whole new design, very reminiscent of that of the newer box sets, but not quite. You know, the new 13th Doctor ones, they're kind of like, that one's like a bright blue and all that sort of thing. This one takes a more retro design version of the sort of new ones. So you've got the sort of Gallifreyan pattern all up here, you've got the nice window which has got like a sharded design, and it gives a lovely little showcase of the box itself and the figure, which, as you can see as well, it's got the unit headquarters in the background as well, which actually looks really nice. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with the actual box work on this one. The blue and the white look really nice. It gives a nice description. Includes 4th Doctor Regenerated from Robot, 1974. I don't remember Tom Jones playing the 4th Doctor at one point, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Yep, on the side here you've got a sort of basic sort of look at both of the toys. The TARDIS looks a hell of a lot brighter in that image than it actually does in real life, which is good because, quite frankly, I prefer it not to look bright and weird. On the back there as well, and you get a sort of rundown description of pretty much the TARDIS, what it is in Doctor Who, but I presume if you're going to be picking this box set up, you know what the TARDIS is anyway. Actually looking at it, let's see, it doesn't... Yeah, it doesn't say too much about the specific story that it appears in, unfortunately. It just talks about the TARDIS and its main feature, because it hasn't got electronics and it wants to still boast about its many features. It has opening doors. How very exciting. The 4th Doctor Regenerated and TARDIS. The 4th Doctor Regenerated and TARDIS. The 4th Doctor Regenerated and TARDIS. It is on every surface. And we got some legal schneid on the bottom. I'm not trying to take Vote Saxon's credit there. Go check him out, he's a better reviewer than I am, I'm just rambling. Right, okay, let's open this box and... whatever. Okay, and there it is out of its packaging. Hope you enjoyed the time-lapse. So, just before we get onto the actual figures, I know that's the main point of this review, I want to just point out, right, the amount of detail that has gone into this backdrop is incredible. I'm actually considering having it up on my display. It's got, like, oh wow, I mean literally, I mean look at it. I mean, so you've got like the unit headquarters type backdrop there. The floor has got like a print of where the TARDIS was. The posters on the wall, there's like a schematics of the TARDIS console. I believe that's Talons of Wang Chang as well. And there's loads of other different things on there as well, so if you want to get this set, that's definitely quite helpful. There's even a little photo frame with the 3rd Doctor with the unit soldiers there, if you can see. That's brilliant. I do like that, actually. Little bonuses like that are really good for like collectors who want to put stuff on display, so I might even consider doing that myself. A lovely little backdrop, gotta say. Really, really like that. But yeah, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the TARDIS and the Doctor. So, first of all, we'll talk about the Doctor. Now, this is a bit of an odd one. I'll get my other Tom Baker figure just to have a look. It's a freshly regenerated version of the Doctor in John Pertwee's outfit from the finale. Was it Planet of the Spiders, I think it was? And when he regenerated into the Fourth Doctor. So the Fourth Doctor wore this for a little bit in Robot. Yeah, it's quite nice to have this figure. I believe it has been released before, so it's nothing special or new, but the face sculpt seems a bit different. The face sculpt, in fact, seems a bit odd. Now, I have to say, on the photos it did look like Tom Jones or anyone else other than Tom Baker. In real life, as much as it looks less like Tom Baker than the actual proper figures do, it must be said it doesn't look too far off. I think it's quite a nice bit of detailing. The only thing I will point out is that although it does have the articulation of any other character options figure, it has the unfortunate sort of things that the normal B&M figures have, which is very weak joints. As you can see, that is me just moving the arm. This shouldn't move at all, and it's moving this much. That is worrying. This one doesn't do it as much. That is meant to do that. But stuff like that, it's a little bit disconcerting when the figures are that flimsy and a bit crap. This figure won't be going on my TARDIS display because even though it's accurate to the prop, I would rather just have the normal Fourth Doctor one on there. And, you know, let's be honest, most people are buying this set for the TARDIS, not this boy here. So, we'll talk about the TARDIS now. Move Tom Jones out the way and we'll talk about the TARDIS box. Okay, so this TARDIS box is, in design, not like looks and all that sort of thing, but the actual box itself, exactly the same mould as the original Fourth Doctor box release, which looks extremely different to this, and the Third Doctor B&M box, which was released late last year. Exactly the same model, so it's very familiar to me. Unfortunately, with B&M models, this does happen a lot, and it was very prevalent with the last one, it's still here now, is it has a really waxy feel to it. You can probably even see on camera, it doesn't look wooden. It looks very, actually does on the camera, actually looks quite bad, but when you touch it, it just feels like rubber, and it's a bit of an odd feeling for what's a nice kind of prop, because all the other boxes don't do that. They feel like hard, solid plastic. That's because I believe they made this with a different plastic, with it being a B&M one, which is fair enough. It's a very good deal, 20 quid. We'll talk about the price towards the end and whether or not it's worth it. But yeah, the basics of it, it is a TARDIS. That is pretty much it. It is the TARDIS, same as the Third Doctor one. Only major differences are pretty much the colour is the nicest one first. I really like this colour. It actually really works as a classic box. I think I prefer it to the. I'd much prefer it to the Third Doctor one. It's a definite step up. I quite like the sign. I suppose it's like mildly accurate. It's never going to be 100% accurate to the actual prop, but I think this is pretty close. I believe, yeah, there's some actual like scuff marks on the sort of police public call box sign, and yeah, there's a few scuff marks towards the bottom of the box as well, which is always quite nice because it's nice to have a little bit of a worn feel to it, you know, like Tennant's did, or the War Doctor's a bit much, but you know, you get my point. Like Hartnell's had a bit of a worn effect at the bottom. And I'm glad it's got elements of that. Unfortunately, even in light, it does feel a bit waxy. Like, it still looks a bit waxy and a bit weird. But I suppose the true test has got to be how see-through is the plastic. We had this problem with the Third Doctor box, and that was that if you shone a torch to it, you could see it through the other side very, very brightly. Now, what? Oh, Christ. Where's the torch on this? What must be said is, although it does shine almost directly through, it's not doing it. It's not as bad as the Third Doctor box, as far as I remember. Yeah. So like it's meant to shine through, I know, but like if I pull the torch up to the sort of side there, on the inside there's not that much more of a glow than there usually would be. So quite honestly, that's not too bad. I remember the Third Doctor's box being a lot worse than that in regards to how much light it let through from the side just by shining a torch on it. But yeah, same as before, other than it's got like a white top on the thing. It's not electronic, but has them. Oh, these horrible, horrible little things at the back. The non-existent, ghostly battery compartment and holes. But it is in unit headquarters, so let's just say someone shot the TARDIS in a very organised pattern. Yeah, so if you don't know already, this is using the same mould as the original 4th Doctor release back in 2012, which was a Forbidden Planet exclusive, goes for hundreds of quid now because they're extremely rare and extremely expensive and all that sort of thing. Never owned one myself, but I do have a 7th Doctor and the 1st Doctor box, so I know kind of the struggle and the sort of situation around that of getting them. This uses the same mould because it's cheaper not to, to not make a new mould. Meaning it still has the battery compartment and it still has the speaker grill, but has no electronics or lights or anything. Even the inside has the battery compartment at the back you may have saw before, which is incredibly unfortunate. But for a 20 quid set, lovely backdrop, actually decent TARDIS, better than last time, and a 4th Doctor figure, Considering how rare the classic toys and the classic TARDISes were like a year ago, it is absolutely brilliant to see that we're getting a proper collection of these things back out on shelves for, yes, it's a cheap price, yes, it's a cheap material, but, as a collector from a distance, looking at that and going, yeah, that looks pretty good. If I put it alongside the sort of, expensive, proper plastic version of the 7th Doctor box, like, it doesn't look too far out of place, really. And I quite like that, it actually just fits in nicely. It's a lot more subtle, the colours are less bright, they're more dull. And I think that's one major complaint I had about the 3rd Doctor box. As much as I liked it, it was very bright blue, and then it had that weird black base. This doesn't have any of that. This is a lovely sort of blue wash. And it comes with a moderately decent figure. I suppose if you don't have any sort of classic figures or whatever, you don't have a Tom Baker figure, this is a nice one to have on display with this TARDIS. Only complaint really, it doesn't come with a sonic screwdriver. That's a bit of a shame, considering, but that's the same with all the B&M sets. I think that's just what it is, and obviously the figure quality itself is quite cheap and just made out of reused parts, and weird paint jobs on the face to make it look a bit like Tom Jones. But, that aside, if this is like a child that you're buying for, like a birthday or whatever like that, it's a perfect gift. It's a lovely little set, and it looks great on display, especially for collectors as well. It's an item that I definitely recommend getting. Get rid of your expensive 4th Doctor box if you're willing. Get some money off that and get this, because it's pretty much the same thing. Yes, the plastic's a bit more naff. Yes, there's no electronics, but if it's on display and you've got it as a collector's item, the actual exterior itself doesn't look too far off what the original, really expensive now release is. So I'm not going to be venturing out for the 4th Doctor box, because I've got a decent looking one here that I think is personally an up from B&M from their last release, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do next. My predictions are probably going to be the 5th Doctor box, because that is just a repainted version of the 7th Doctor box, which I assume they'll probably have a mould for now. So, yes, count me in as very excited for the next one. If you want to see me review the next one that comes out, which is probably going to be at the end of this year, please do let me know in the comments. Have you got this? Have you managed to get your hands on it? If so, what do you think about it? Tell me that in the comments as well. Leave a like if you enjoyed this review. Subscribe to the channel with notifications on if you haven't already. Check out the Patreon if you want to support the channel and all that exclusive content and all that lovely, wonderful, funny stuff. Check out the Discord server if you want to talk about Doctor Who and merchandise and all that sort of lovely stuff as well. And yes, check out my social media links down in the description, and I will see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.